Okay, so are you ready to get a little bit creeped out today? Because that's what we're doing.
I'm always ready to get creeped out. Let's do it.
All right, let's go deep into this. This is called jarchase14.pdef, which, as a title,
It doesn't give you a lot to go on, does it?
no, it doesn't. But it is a single chapter from a larger work. I can't remember the name of the work off the top of my head.
That's okay. We don't need to.
But we're really going to experience this through the eyes of the main character, who is never named.
Yes.
So right away from the very first couple lines, it's super disorienting.
Yes, it is.
Darkness, strange feelings in the body, and then this moaning that's cut off. It's just, it's creepy right away.
It's like you're dropped right into a nightmare and you don't know what's going on.
Yeah, yeah. And then there's that simile of like black water smoothing over a stone.
Yeah, that's unsettling.
Like, yeah, something's hidden there.
It's not just darkness. It's like a sinister darkness.
Yeah. It's like it's hiding something. And then, as if that wasn't enough, it goes from this sort of stillness to suddenly wind and movement, and then all these voices.
Right.
It's not friendly chatter. It's like rumbling, protesting, disagreeing. It's like a cacophony of voices in the distance.
And it's really overwhelming. You're just bombarded by all this sensory information.
Yeah. And then we get this chisel, which we never find out what it is, which causes pain and flashes of light. It's like an assault on her consciousness.
It's like something is trying to break in.
Yeah, yeah. And then she wakes up, or thinks she does. She's in a room that has windows.
Right. You would think there'd be light.
You would think there would be light, but it's completely dark. And it keeps saying that over and over again. It was completely dark, like a broken record.
Yeah, and you start to wonder, is she blind? Is this some kind of metaphor for something else going on?
Yeah, and what's the deal with reality here? Is this a dream?
Yeah.
We don't know. And then you have the nurse who's just so lacking in empathy. It's really quite disturbing. She's like, there are lots of blind people in the world. You'll marry a nice blind man someday.
Like, it's no big deal.
Like, no big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and on top of that, she keeps insisting, I can't see. But then the doctor says, your sight is perfectly intact.
Yeah, so are they lying to her? Is something else going on?
Yeah, it's super creepy. Like, are they gaslighting her?
Yeah, it's very unsettling.
And then her family visits.
Oh, yeah.
And you would think that that would be a comfort.
You'd think so, right?
But she's detached. Like, she doesn't even want them there.
Yeah, and the way her mother's face is described, puckering and quivering like a pale jelly. I mean, it's just not a comforting image.
And then there's this guy she remembers, kind of George Bakewell.
Yeah.
And her reaction to her own body is just disturbing.
It's like she doesn't recognize herself.
Yeah. Yellow legs, short, thick stubble of black hair. It's just repulsive to her.
It's like she's looking at a stranger in the mirror.
Yeah, she keeps asking for a mirror. It's like, if I could just see myself, then maybe I'll understand.
Right.
But when she finally gets a mirror, it's horrifying.
Yeah.
What she sees is a shaved head, discolored skin, this grotesque grin. It's like a funhouse mirror gone bad.
It's really disturbing.
And then the nurses, they lose it. They start whispering, you know where? You know where? They'll take care of her at, where?
And that just adds to the mystery. Like, what is this place they're so afraid of?
Yeah, like, is it contagious?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Right.
So much to unpack here.
A lot of questions, a lot of creepy stuff.
Yeah, and so much foreshadowing. I mean, when they drop the mirror,
Oh, yeah.
7 years, bad luck. I think a lot more than bad luck is coming her way.
I think you're right about that.
And even that brief glimpse that she gets out the window of the ambulance when they're taking her,
Yeah, right.
it just reinforces this feeling of confinement.
Like the world is closing in on her.
Yeah, yeah. And then you have Mrs. Tomalillo who starts mocking her and imitating her.
Yeah.
It's just another example of how she's losing control.
Yeah, it's like everyone is taking something from her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like even her sense of self.
Exactly.
And then we're introduced to Dr. Pancreas. What a name.
Doesn't inspire confidence, does it?
And her paranoia really starts to ramp up.
Yeah, you start to question, like, who's really in control here?
Yeah.
Who can she trust?
And she has that conversation with her mother where she begs to be let out of the hospital.
Right. It's heartbreaking.
So sad. It's like she's drowning and nobody's throwing her a lifeline.
Yeah, and she's surrounded by people who are supposed to be helping her.
And then we're in the dining room and things get really strange.
Oh yeah, the dining room scene.
This Negro character who's introduced, and then she has to eat this meal of double beans, and she's repulsed by it.
Everything about it is just off.
Yeah, and she starts to rebel. She kicks the Negro. She refuses to eat the macaroni. It's like she's a child throwing a tantrum.
Yeah, but it's a tantrum with some pretty serious consequences.
Oh yeah, because they punish her, of course.
Of course.
And that incident with the thermometer where she breaks it and rolls the mercury around in her hand, it's
Hmm.
such a small act of defiance. But it's significant, right? It's like she's trying to hold on to something that she can control.
Yeah, and I think the mercury itself is interesting because it's so fluid. It breaks apart. It comes back together.
Right. It's kind of a metaphor for her own mental state.
Yeah, like she's fascinated by it.
Yeah. And it makes you wonder what's going to happen to her. Is she going to break apart completely, or is she going to find a way to put herself back together?
That is the question.
We'll have to find out in the next part.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So that's part one.
We did it. So we're back, and I don't know about you, but this whole thing makes me feel so claustrophobic.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like she's trapped in this bubble of darkness, and nobody can really reach her.
Yeah. And not just darkness, but also silence. Like, nobody's really listening to her. They're just watching her, waiting for her to break down.
Yeah, it's like they've already labeled her as crazy, and they're just waiting for her to prove them right.
It's like she can't express any emotions without being judged. Right. And that sense of being misunderstood, of being dismissed, it's something that a lot of people with mental illness experience in real life, too.
It's so easy to just write someone off as different instead of trying to understand what they're going through.
Yeah, we tend to focus on labels instead of seeing the individual.
It makes you wonder what would have happened if somebody had actually listened to her, if somebody had taken her seriously.
Right, if she had felt heard and understood.
Instead, she's just trapped in this system that's supposed to be helping her, but it's actually making things worse.
It's a really scary thought, right? The idea that the very people who are supposed to be caring for you could actually be contributing to your suffering.
And her attempts to fight back, like kicking the Negro or breaking the thermometer,
Mm-hmm.
they're so desperate and they just backfire.
But I think those acts of rebellion are important, even if they don't achieve the desired outcome.
What do you mean?
Well, they show that she's not giving up. She's still fighting for some kind of control over her own life.
Even if it's just a tiny bit of control.
Exactly. It's like she's saying, I'm still here. I'm still a person.
I do keep thinking about that recurring image of darkness, though. It's so pervasive in this chapter.
Yeah, it's not just physical darkness. It's a darkness of the mind.
Huh?
A feeling of being lost and disoriented.
Like she doesn't know what's real anymore.
Right, and the author really emphasizes that sense of disorientation through those vivid descriptions like black water smoothing. It's just unsettling.
It's like something bad is always lurking just beneath the surface.
Yeah, and I think that sense of dread really speaks to the protagonist's mental state. She's constantly on edge, always expecting the worst.
And it's not just paranoia. It's like the world itself has become a threatening place.
Right, like she can't trust anything or anyone, not even her own senses.
And then there's that really disturbing image at the end of the chapter of her holding the mercury and smiling.
Yeah, that's a chilling moment. It makes you wonder what's going on in her head.
It's creepy, but I also find it kind of empowering.
Oh, really? How so?
Well, it's like she's finally found something that she can control, something that reflects her own inner turmoil.
You mean the way the mercury breaks apart and comes back together?
Yeah, exactly. It's like she sees herself in that substance.
That's a really interesting interpretation.
It's like she's embracing the chaos of her own mental state.
Yeah, maybe she's starting to realize that it's okay to not be okay.
That it's okay to be different, to be broken.
And maybe that's the first step towards healing?
Maybe so. But it's definitely a journey with a lot of twists and turns.
Absolutely. And that's what makes this chapter so compelling. It's a story about mental illness, but it's also a story about resilience, about the human capacity for survival.
It's a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there's always a glimmer of hope.
And that sometimes the most painful experiences can also lead to the most profound transformations.
So where do we go from here?
Well, that's the question, isn't it? Is she going to succumb to the darkness? Or is she going to find a way to fight back and reclaim her own life?
I guess we'll have to wait and see.
I'm definitely hooked. I want to know what happens next.
Me too. Let's dive into part 3 and see where this journey takes us. It's really interesting how much this chapter plays with the idea of darkness, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, it's right there in the title of our deep dive, A Descent into Darkness.
But what if it's not just a descent? What if it's also a kind of rebirth?
Ooh, I like that.
A rebirth.
Like, think about a caterpillar going into a cocoon. It's dark and scary, but it has to happen for the butterfly to emerge.
That's a really cool way to think about it. And I think the author actually gives us some clues about this possibility through all the symbolism that's going on.
Like what?
Well, for example, the mercury. Remember how fascinated she is by it?
Yeah, she's like mesmerized by it.
Right. And mercury is this really interesting substance. It's dangerous, obviously, but it's also kind of beautiful. The way it moves and shimmers and breaks apart and comes back together.
So are you saying that the Mercury is like a metaphor for the protagonist's own journey? I think it could be. It represents transformation change, the possibility of breaking down and then rebuilding yourself into something new.
And maybe that's what she's doing in this chapter. Even though it seems like she's falling apart, she's actually going through a process of metamorphosis.
Exactly. It's like she's shedding her old self, the self that doesn't fit into this world anymore.
And the darkness is like the cocoon, a safe space where she can transform.
Yeah, and her acts of rebellion, those could be seen as part of that transformation too.
Like when she kicks the Negro or breaks the thermometer.
Right, those are acts of defiance against the forces that are trying to control her. They're her way of saying, I'm not going to be defined by your rules anymore.
So even though she's physically confined in this hospital, her spirit is still free.
Exactly. She's fighting for her right to exist on her own terms.
I think that's what makes this chapter so powerful. It's not just a sad story about a woman losing her mind. It's a story about a woman finding her own strength, even in the darkest of places.
It's a story about resilience, about the human capacity for hope, even when everything seems hopeless.
It's like that old saying, it's always darkest before the dawn.
Exactly. And I think that's a really fitting message for this chapter.
We've talked about a lot of heavy stuff in this deep dive, but I think it's important to remember that there's always light at the end of the tunnel.
And that even in the midst of darkness, we can find beauty and meaning.
So if you're feeling lost or alone or like you're descending into your own personal darkness, remember that you're not alone.
There are people who care about you, and there's always hope for a brighter future.
And if this deep dive has sparked your curiosity, we encourage you to seek out the full text and continue exploring these themes. It's a journey worth taking.
Absolutely. And don't be afraid to embrace the darkness. Sometimes it's in those dark places that we find our true selves.
Well said. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into jar chase14.pdf.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll see you next time.